even though like schools are close by, there's like a lot of barriers that are in the way of us communicating with one another. But those barriers don't have to like be there.
There's a book we read in like third grade, but it was like, you should never judge another person until you've walked 2 moons in their moccasins. It's like an old saying, probably indigenous saying, now that I'm thinking about it. But just experience someone else's life for a couple of days. It's cool. I mean, that's like the whole point, is that like, 5 miles or however far it is makes like a world of difference. But the kids seem the same as us.
The space is an opportunity for communities of kids to come together that would not normally meet one another. It's a year-long program. It's not, let's have lunch, kumbaya, we're all friends. The teachers are paired up, and teachers then pair up their students based on student commonalities or student strengths, or the teachers just decide how they want to pair their kids.
Basically, like, we exchange our writing. We basically work on the same things, and then we openly communicate with a student from the other school, and then we end up meeting up at the end of the year.
We've been waiting for like ever. We've been like, okay, can we just like hurry up with it and get our letters already? We were so excited, and we just want to meet in person already so we can just talk back and forth so we don't have to wait.
It's fun. People get to meet other people, and it's really exciting because you get to open the letter, you get to send the letters, and you just get to like meet this whole new person.
As someone that lives in like Powell, I might have some misconceptions about people that live in Columbus. And when I'm writing my person, like, are they gonna have the same experience as me or think the same things? And when I get that letter back, it's just like eye-opening, like this is just another kid going through high school like me. And it's like amazing to see.
Yeah, knowing that they've had like the different experiences, but being able to see that, yeah, we are still similar because we are going through the same things.
These were long letters, like they were writing to their best friend, and they didn't even know. It was really cool.
What excites you about having a program as well?
I can kind of see like the individual experience that the other person has in their other school. So it's one of those, like I can see a more detailed view than I would maybe get if I just like walked around the school, just like saw the class changes. Like I can kind of get an idea, but having like one person to talk to, it's like, okay, this is this person's experience. This is a real person. This is what one person thinks. Obviously, it's not going to be representative of everybody because no one person can do that. But it gives a deeper view than I would get with just like walking around the school for a day, following around a class or whatever.
The programming does a good job of making sure that students are not sprung on each other, like before they're ready to be sprung on each other. Where relationships are developed throughout the entire school year.
They will start their own relationships via social media, like that. I mean, because they look each other up, and so that's why we're like, put down your handles because they're going to look them up anyways. So there's that aspect. And then our seniors and their seniors, we took the gold from our colors and the silver from their colors, and because the cords are a big thing at graduation, they twisted the cords and they wore them.
Our now seniors were juniors last year, and so they saw how that community was built, and I think they're really looking forward to having that opportunity themselves too.
They are.
Yeah, they've been waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's shared purpose and shared learning, and it's in-person collaboration to reimagine your world. Those three things are paramount to the work, but they're very flexible in how you do them.
And now it's kindergarten through 12th grade, which is so exciting. I mean, it might sound crazy that kindergartners can do this kind of stuff, but they absolutely can.
So I think that's really cool to get the opportunity to do that, because some people never get the opportunity to connect with other people when you're like this young that are in a different school than you.
A lot of the shared learning we ask teachers to do is to focus on a shared social issue. And we think that can happen in any subject. There could be statistics that you're looking at and ways that you can look at just equity in your own school based on statistics and suspension rates and who's tracked into gifted programs. So I think that it's a little bit harder to uncover what that shared learning is, but I think it's there for all of them.
It's a good work. It's just so exciting work. And then they took those posters and we reenacted that march all through downtown Westerville. Kids were chanting, kids were holding their sign, people were passing and they were stopping and looking at what the kids created. They were honking their horns in support. And we just left that whole experience thinking like, wow, we can change things. We can change the world. We can use other people's stories. We can see ourselves in someone that looks totally different than us or lives in a different part of the city. And so I think that this work is probably one of the most, I gotta need a tissue. It's some of the best work that we do as teachers, not just through Erase the Space. Yes, this is a catalyst, but just teaching kids to care about our world, to listen to each other's stories, to care about each other, and then to join forces to make a difference.
The outreach is something that I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted our students here. The frequent refrain in Upper Arlington is that we teach in a bubble, and the kids live in a bubble, and they never get outside the bubble. And so this is a great opportunity for them to see what life is like, just a mile away from their own high schools.
I think my kids automatically assume that they've earned their diversity badge, because of the school and where they're coming from, and might actually shortchange at the beginning part of this what they can get out of it, because I've experienced this, right? I'm good. But that out of CCS experience, right, is a whole other level of things that they're exposed to that they're not ready for. They don't have any prior knowledge of. So I think they think, well, I got it, right? 60% of our school is Black, 40% is white. We've got all this, right? I'm not going to get as much out of this experience because I've already understand diversity, right? And it really opens their eyes to the fact that in our city in particular, you can literally live 15 minutes away from somebody and have it be a totally wildly different experience and world.
We're so sheltered, kind of necessarily within our own school. You don't really get to hear about the experiences one-on-one from other students that are the same age as you and going through the same things, even though they're just a few miles down the road. It's a very different experience of what we all experience, and I was excited to see a different part of it because I know that where I am and where I live and where I go to school determines how I live, kind of.
One of the more concrete things that I've always thought is that if kids go through this and they're able to make relationships and connections with people who live in different places or places that have mythology about them, or their parents have told them stories, they can make a different decision on where they live, because that's how we disrupt segregation as well, is that we start to choose based on human connection rather than the stories that we've been told.
What I learned is about my community, and that's what I think one of the things that's super important about Erase the Space is that it's about where you live.
When you invite another community and you're forced to recognize that community, and you're forced to understand that community, and you're forced to acknowledge your own ignorance with Erase the Space. And I think that for me in particular, I'm not a person who's been very comfortable with ignorance. I'm someone who always wants to know the answer to something. And I think Erase the Space especially has forced me to be aware that I don't know as much about the world as I'd like to think that I do. And so I think that acceptance piece is why Erase the Space has to happen, because you have to accept that you don't know everything, but you still can have the opportunity to learn more.
Everyone needs connection. So to have genuine connection with someone, it was just amazing. They felt free to share who they were and ask questions and be like, hey, you like such and such, so do I, or I don't know. Just connection is so important and it's so missing. Community and connection is just not a focus in our society anymore, and it needs to be. And that's part of the reason we're having so many problems. So to create inborn community, like in connection, where kids don't have to worry about navigating it. The teachers have the training to figure out how to navigate it for them. So they're just kind of free to be.
You do a whole bunch of things and you don't know if it's actually affecting change, or anything. So I think these experiences show you that like it's affecting change. It's outside of just a math problem.
Now I kind of get like I have an actual reference point as opposed to just like what people are talking about. I get to like actually see at least one other school from elementary school, potentially all the way up through high school, maybe only once in elementary school. But still, it's one of those like, it's no longer as divided because like I don't know a lot of people from the suburb schools at all anyway. Like I just don't know the people there at all. If I had met someone in elementary school, like be like, okay, I know this person there. They're people. They're not just like numbers. They're not just stats or whatever. It's not just a grade that goes onto US News and says this high school is the best in Central Ohio or whatever. It's like, okay, these are actual people.